Chosen ones, you didn't find this message by accident, and you know it. Something in you felt the pull even before you clicked, even before you leaned in. There is a weight in the air right now, a seriousness that cannot be ignored, because this is not a comfortable message, and it was never meant to be. This is the kind of truth that shakes you awake in the middle of the night, the kind of truth that rearranges priorities, exposes fear, and demands courage. If you are listening, it is because you were built for pressure, not applause. You were built to stand when others sit down, to speak when others stay silent, and to move forward when the cost feels too high. You have felt it for a long time, that quiet knowing that your life was never meant to be ordinary. Not easy, not smooth, not predictable. There were moments you tried to convince yourself you were like everyone else, that you could settle, that you could dim your light just enough to blend in. But every time you tried, something inside you resisted. You felt restless. You felt out of place. You felt like you were living beneath your calling. That discomfort was not weakness, it was confirmation. It was proof that your spirit knows what your mind sometimes tries to forget. There is a reason the pressure intensified right before this message reached you. There is a reason opposition showed up in familiar places, why misunderstanding came from people you expected support from, why doors closed suddenly without explanation. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. Resistance is not a sign to retreat, it is often a sign that you are dangerously close to something that matters. The enemy never fights what isn't a threat. The struggle itself is evidence that your future carries weight. This message comes with risk because truth always does. It costs something to hear it, and it costs even more to live it. You cannot remain the same after this. You cannot go back to pretending you don't see what you see or know what you know. You have been marked for responsibility, not comfort. You have been trusted with insight, not excuses. And the moment you accept that, everything changes. You have survived things that should have broken you. And that survival was not luck. It was training. Every delay, every rejection, every season where it felt like you were doing everything right but nothing was moving, all of it was shaping your endurance. You were learning how to stand without applause, how to obey without guarantees, how to trust without proof. Most people quit in those seasons. You didn't. Even when you were exhausted, even when your faith felt quiet, something in you refused to let go completely. You must understand this clearly. Not everyone will understand your assignment, and many who don't understand it will criticize it. They will question your motives, your timing, your sanity. They will call you intense, dramatic, unrealistic, or extreme. Let them. You were never meant to be validated by consensus. You were meant to be aligned with purpose. The path of the chosen is often lonely, not because you are better, but because you are called to see differently. There is a separation happening right now, and you can feel it. Old connections feel strained. Conversations feel shallow. Environments that once felt familiar now feel suffocating. This is not arrogance, and it is not rejection. It is alignment. You cannot carry new vision with old limitations. You cannot step into greater responsibility while holding on to what no longer fits. Growth always demands release. You have been tested in silence, and that is where your strength was built. When no one was clapping, when no one was checking on you, when no one knew how heavy it was, you kept going. You prayed when answers didn't come quickly. You believed when evidence was thin. You stayed honest when compromise would have been easier. That integrity matters more than you realize. It is the foundation for what comes next. This message is final in the sense that excuses end here. The season of waiting for permission is over. The season of asking if you are ready has passed. Readiness is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move despite it. Courage is not loud confidence. It is quiet obedience. You already have what you need to take the next step. What you have been calling lack was actually preparation in disguise. You are being asked to trust deeper than you ever have before. Not trust in outcomes, not trust in people, not trust in timing, but trust in the one who has guided you through every unseen battle. Look back over your life. See how many times you were protected without knowing it, redirected without understanding it, sustained without recognizing it. You are still here for a reason. Your story did not end in those moments because it is meant to speak in this one. There is urgency in this message because time is not unlimited. Delay has consequences. Comfort has a cost. Playing small may feel safe, but it slowly erodes the soul. You were not designed to live half awake, half committed, half believing. You were designed to move with conviction, even when the path ahead is not fully visible. Faith was never about seeing the whole staircase, only the next step. You may feel unqualified, but qualification was never the requirement. Availability was, willingness was, humility was. The greatest movements often begin with individuals who feel inadequate but obedient. If you wait until you feel fearless, you will wait forever. The call does not wait for confidence. Confidence is built by answering the call. Pay attention to what has been stirring in your spirit lately, the ideas that won't leave you alone, the truths you can no longer ignore, the pull towards something meaningful, even if it scares you. That is not random, that is instruction. You are being invited into a deeper level of purpose, and invitations can be declined, not without consequence, but with free will. This is where choice matters. You will have to let go of needing to be understood. You will have to release the need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your validation does not come from agreement. It comes from alignment. When you know you are walking in truth, silence becomes easier and peace becomes louder than opinion. There will be moments ahead where you will want to stop, to retreat, to question everything again. Expect them. Resistance does not disappear just because you decide to move forward. But you will not face it the same way anymore. You are not who you used to be. You carry discernment now. You carry authority earned through endurance. You carry a calm that only comes from having survived storms that others never saw. This is not about ego or elevation, it is about responsibility. You have been given insight because others need it. You've been given strength because others will lean on it. You've been given vision because others are still searching in the dark. This is not about standing above people. It is about standing for something when it would be easier to sit down. The risk is real. Obedience can cost relationships, comfort, and familiarity. It can disrupt plans and expose fears. But disobedience costs more in the long run. It costs peace. It costs clarity. It costs the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you did what you were meant to do. Regret is heavier than fear, and you already know that. You are not late. You're not behind. You are not forgotten. Timing is precise. Even when it feels delayed, everything you needed to learn, you learned. Everything you needed to survive, you survived. Everything you needed to unlearn is being stripped away now. What remains is essential. Stand firm in what you know, even if your voice shakes. Move forward, even if your hands tremble. Speak truth, even if it costs you approval. The path ahead will not always be clear, but clarity follows commitment. Light meets movement. Strength meets obedience. There are people connected to your yes who will never know your name, but their lives will be changed by your courage. There are outcomes unfolding that you cannot see yet, but they are already in motion. What feels like a step of faith is actually a step into alignment that has been prepared longer than you realize. This is where you stop negotiating with fear. This is where you stop shrinking to make others comfortable. This is where you stop postponing the life you were called to live. You have carried this long enough to know that running from it only makes it heavier. Facing it is what brings relief. So take a breath, steady yourself, and listen closely to what is being asked of you now, because the next move will require trust that goes beyond logic, a willingness to act without full confirmation, and a commitment to stay faithful even when the results take time. And as you step into that space where certainty fades and conviction must lead, you will begin to notice subtle shifts, internal realignments, moments where resistance rises, but something deeper within you stands taller, reminding you that this is exactly where you were meant to be, even as the path continues to unfold and the call presses forward, asking you to remain attentive, grounded, and ready for what comes next as. The journey continues, and the weight of this message settles not as an ending, but as a beginning that demands your attention right now, in this moment, as you move forward without looking back, and allow the next layer of purpose to reveal itself through your willingness to keep going, to keep listening, to keep walking even when the road ahead feels unfinished and the next step is still forming beneath your feet as you move into it. Because that unfinished feeling is not confusion, it is transition. You are between who you were and who you are becoming, and that space is uncomfortable by design. It strips away certainty so dependence can deepen. It removes familiar markers so intuition can sharpen. You are not lost, you are being reoriented. And the reason this season feels heavier than previous ones is because the assignment ahead carries more weight than anything behind you. There are truths you now see that you cannot unsee. Patterns that have been revealed, motives that are clearer, distractions that no longer satisfy. What once entertained you now drains you. What once motivated you now feels shallow. That is not boredom, that is maturation. Your spirit is rejecting what no longer feeds it. And when that happens, silence becomes louder, solitude becomes necessary, and discernment becomes sharper. You've been underestimated for a long time, sometimes even by yourself. You learned how to minimize your expectations to protect your heart. You learned how to prepare for disappointment so it wouldn't hurt as much when it arrived. But that survival strategy is expiring. You cannot carry cautious thinking into a courageous calling. Guarded hope cannot fuel bold obedience. You are being asked to believe again, not blindly, but deeply. There will be moments when it feels like everything is on the line, like one decision could change the entire direction of your life. That feeling is not exaggeration. Some doors only open once. Some opportunities are sensitive to timing. Some assignments require immediate obedience, not prolonged analysis. Wisdom knows when to wait, but discernment knows when waiting becomes avoidance. You have spent enough time preparing, enough time observing, enough time refining. The question is no longer whether you are capable, but whether you are willing to be visible. Hidden seasons are safe, but they are not permanent. At some point, what has been developed in private must be demonstrated in public. And that exposure can feel terrifying because once you step forward, there's no pretending you didn't know. You may be tempted to wait for perfect conditions, but perfection is rarely the environment where purpose is activated. Purpose thrives in tension. It grows under pressure. It matures through responsibility. You are not stepping into ease, you are stepping into impact. And impact always attracts attention, resistance, and misunderstanding. Some people will accuse you of changing. They will say you are not the same anymore, and they will be right. Growth changes tone. Alignment changes priorities. Conviction changes behavior. Do not apologize for evolution. Do not explain transformation to those who benefited from your stagnation. You are not required to stay small to keep others comfortable. There is a discipline forming in you now, a quiet strength that does not need to announce itself. You are learning how to move without broadcasting every step, how to protect your focus, how to guard what is sacred. Not everything needs to be shared. Not everyone needs access. Privacy is not secrecy, it is stewardship. You are also learning the cost of clarity. Once you see the truth, you are responsible for how you respond to it. Ignorance is no longer an option. Neutrality is no longer honest. You have CRO. SS align internally, and even if your external world looks the same, your inner world has shifted permanently. There will be days when you feel alone, even in a crowd. Days when you wish someone could fully understand the weight you carry. But understand this, some callings are lonely because they require undivided loyalty. You cannot always walk with companions when your direction is uncommon. That loneliness is not abandonment, it is focus. You are being trained to listen beyond noise, to recognize guidance that does not shout, subtle nudges, quiet convictions, gentle corrections. This is refinement. The more responsibility you carry, the clearer your hearing must be. Confusion decreases as alignment increases. Chaos loses power when purpose is clear. Fear will attempt to disguise itself as logic. It will ask reasonable questions, present worst-case scenarios, and highlight everything that could go wrong. Do not mistake fear for wisdom. Wisdom acknowledges risk but does not bow to it. Fear wants control. Faith requires surrender. And surrender is not weakness. It is trust in a higher order than your own understanding. You are not reckless for believing what you feel called to do. You are not naive for hoping again. You are not arrogant for stepping into responsibility. You are responding to something that has been building inside you for years. Every delay sharpened it. Every disappointment clarified it. Every closed door redirected it. Pay attention to what energizes you even when it exhausts you. That paradox is often a clue. Purpose can be demanding without being draining. It can stretch you without breaking you. When you operate in alignment, fatigue feels different. It is meaningful, not empty. You are also being asked to release resentment. Old wounds, unresolved hurts, betrayals that still echo. Carrying them will slow you down. They may feel justified, but they are heavy. Forgiveness is not denial, it is freedom. You cannot move forward while constantly looking back at what hurt you. Healing is part of obedience. There is a refinement happening in your language as well. You are learning to speak with intention, to choose words carefully, to understand the power of what you declare. Words shape atmosphere. Speech directs momentum. What you say about your future matters. What you agree with internally becomes externally influential. You are not meant to imitate anyone else's path. Comparison will only confuse you. Their timing is not your timing. Their assignment is not your assignment. Focus is protection. When you stay in your lane, you conserve energy. When you chase validation, you waste it. You have already noticed that shortcuts no longer appeal to you. What once seemed tempting now feels hollow. Integrity has become more important than speed. Depth more valuable than applause. That shift is not accidental. You are being trusted with things that require character, not charisma. There will be moments when progress feels invisible, when effort seems unnoticed, when obedience feels unrewarded. Do not misinterpret silence as stagnation. Roots grow quietly. Foundations form underground. What is being built in you now will support visibility later. You are learning patience, not passive waiting, but active endurance. The kind that continues to show up, continues to believe, continues to refine. Patience that does not complain about timing, but prepares for fulfillment. This is not delay, it is development. Be careful who you listen to in this season. Not every voice deserves influence. Advice without discernment can derail alignment. Some people speak from fear, some from jealousy, some from ignorance. Learn to recognize fruit, not volume. Truth does not need to shout. You are becoming more comfortable with stillness, with not rushing, with not reacting. That calm is strength. It allows you to respond instead of react, to choose instead of panic. Emotional regulation is spiritual maturity. And maturity is required where you are going. There is also a call to consistency, not intensity that burns out quickly, but faithfulness that endures. Small, repeated actions, daily alignment, quiet discipline. This is how momentum is built. Not through dramatic moments alone, but through sustained obedience. You will be tempted to doubt yourself when progress does not match effort, when results lag behind obedience. Remember this, obedience is not transactional. You are not paid immediately for faithfulness. You are prepared through it. Results follow alignment, not the other way around. You are allowed to rest, but not to retreat. Rest restores clarity. Retreat abandons assignment. Learn the difference. Burnout is not noble, but avoidance is costly. Pace yourself without pulling back completely. You may feel the weight of expectation increasing. Not external pressure, but internal responsibility. That weight means you care. It means you understand the significance of what you carry. Responsibility is heavy, but it is also meaningful. You were not given this weight to be crushed by it, but to grow strong enough to carry it well. There are people watching you who will never tell you. People learning from how you endure, how you respond, how you keep going. Your life is already speaking. Be mindful of what it says. You are not meant to isolate completely. Solitude is different from isolation. Solitude restores, isolation starves. Stay connected to what grounds you, to truth, to discipline, to purpose. Balance is not compromise, it is sustainability. This path will require humility. You will make mistakes. You will misjudge moments. You will need correction. Receive it without defensiveness. Correction is not rejection, it is investment. Pride resists instruction, wisdom welcomes it. You are learning how to lead yourself before leading others. Self-governance precedes influence. Discipline precedes authority. You cannot guide others where you refuse to go yourself. You will face moments of temptation to return to what is familiar simply because it is comfortable. Familiarity can feel like safety, but it can also be stagnation. Growth often feels unsafe because it demands expansion. Do not confuse discomfort with danger. Your intuition is sharpening. Trust it, but test it. Balance sensitivity with wisdom. Discernment grows through practice. You are learning how to differentiate between impulse and instruction, between desire and direction. You are not responsible for convincing everyone. Your responsibility is to remain faithful. Results are not your burden to carry. Your role is obedience. Release the pressure to control outcomes. As you continue forward, you will notice increased clarity about what truly matters. Lesser concerns will fall away. Priorities will reorder themselves. This simplification is a gift. It frees energy for what is essential. You are stepping into a season where alignment matters more than effort. Doing less, but doing it precisely. Saying no more often, protecting your time, guarding your focus. These are not selfish choices, they are strategic ones. Remember this when doubt whispers. You have been prepared for this moment longer than you realize. Nothing about your journey has been wasted, even the parts that hurt, especially the parts that hurt. They taught you empathy, patience, resilience. You are not carrying this alone, even when it feels that way. Support does not always look like companionship. Sometimes it looks like strength given daily, clarity given gradually, endurance renewed quietly. Stay attent. Stay grounded, stay honest. The next phase will require all three. What is unfolding is not rushed, but it is intentional. Each step reveals the next. Each act of obedience unlocks further instruction. And as you continue walking forward into what feels uncertain yet deeply familiar, as if you have been here before in another form, you will sense the weight increasing and the clarity sharpening. At the same time, a paradox that confirms you are exactly where you are supposed to be, moving forward without a full map, but with a steady inner compass that continues to guide you deeper into responsibility, deeper into purpose, deeper into the unfolding path that has not yet revealed its full shape, but continues to form beneath you as you walk, inviting you to keep listening, keep trusting, keep moving, without stopping now, without turning back. As the journey continues to open, layer by layer, step by step, breath by breath, because that steady inner compass will not fail you. Even when external markers disappear, there will be moments when familiar signs are removed on purpose, when confirmation from people dries up, when reassurance no longer comes in recognizable forms. This is intentional. You are learning how to move without leaning on validation, how to trust direction without applause, how to recognize guidance without needing it to be loud. The quieter it becomes around you, the clearer it becomes within you. You are entering a phase where discernment matters more than desire. Not everything that looks good is meant for you. Not every open door is permission. Some opportunities are distractions dressed as blessings. They offer comfort without purpose, speed without depth, recognition without responsibility. You must learn to pause before you pursue. Excitement alone is not a signal. Peace is. You will notice that your tolerance for surface-level living company continues to decrease. Conversations that revolve around gossip, fear, or ego will feel draining. Environments that thrive on chaos will feel unsettling. This is not judgment, it is alignment. Your spirit is becoming attuned to a different frequency, and what once felt normal now feels heavy. There will be days when you miss who you used to be, not because they were better, but because they carried less responsibility. Innocence is lighter than awareness. But you cannot return to who you were without betraying who you are becoming. Growth closes certain doors permanently, and nostalgia cannot reopen them without cost. You are being shaped to carry truth without aggression, conviction without arrogance, confidence without pride. This balance takes time. You will not always get it right. Sometimes you will speak too strongly, other times too softly. Learn from both. Refinement is not punishment, it is precision. The more aligned you become, the more sensitive you will be to inner resistance. Procrastination, distraction, restlessness. These are signals, not failures. They reveal areas where fear is negotiating for control. Instead of condemning yourself, get curious. Ask what is being avoided and why. Awareness dismantles avoidance. You will be tempted to measure progress by external milestones, but internal alignment is the truest metric. Peace that remains under pressure. Integrity that holds under temptation. Consistency that persists without recognition. These are signs of real growth. Even when nothing else appears to be changing, your journey will require you to become comfortable with paradox, strength and vulnerability coexisting, confidence paired with humility, urgency balanced by patience. These tensions are not contradictions, they are indicators of maturity. Simple answers belong to shallow waters. Depth requires nuance. There will be moments when you outgrow spaces before you are ready to leave them. You will feel the disconnect before the exit appears. This can be confusing. Do not force transitions prematurely, but do not ignore the signs. Honor the season you are in while preparing for the one ahead. You are learning how to steward energy, not just time. Where you place your attention matters. What you allow to drain you matters. You cannot give everything to everyone and still remain effective. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges to sustainability. Some people will interpret your boundaries as rejection. Let them. You cannot explain your way into being understood by those who benefit from your overextension. Your responsibility is not to be accessible to everyone, but to be faithful to what you are assigned. You will also be confronted with the temptation to rush the process once momentum begins. Early progress can be intoxicating. Guard against impatience disguised as ambition. What is built too quickly often lacks stability. Pace protects longevity. Your humility will be tested when recognition finally comes, when affirmation arrives, when others begin to notice what you have carried quietly for so long. Stay grounded. Remember the unseen seasons. Remember the nights when no one knew the cost. Gratitude keeps success from becoming entitlement. You are being invited to trust process over prediction. Plans may shift. Timelines may adjust. Methods may change. Purpose remains. Flexibility is not compromise, it is wisdom. Rigidity breaks under pressure. Adaptability endures. There will be moments when you are misunderstood publicly and affirmed privately. Resist the urge to defend yourself loudly. Truth does not require constant explanation. Time reveals what arguments cannot. Your consistency will speak louder than any defense. You are also learning the power of restraint, not responding immediately, not reacting emotionally, not saying everything you know. Silence can be strategic. Stillness can be strength. Wisdom often waits. You may feel the urge to isolate when things become intense. Be careful. Withdrawal can feel like protection, but prolonged isolation can distort perspectives. Stay connected to grounding practices, to truth, to reflection, to whatever keeps you centered. You are allowed to grieve what you are releasing. Growth involves loss, old versions of yourself, old dreams that no longer fit, old relationships that cannot follow you forward. Grief does not mean you are going backward. It means you are honoring what was. Your compassion is expanding as well. You are beginning to see people through a lens of understanding rather than reaction. Hurt people hurt people. Fear drives many decisions. This awareness does not excuse behavior, but it informs response. Compassion without discernment leads to burnout. Discernment without compassion leads to hardness. You are learning both. There will be moments when you feel called to stand alone, to say something unpopular, to take a position that feels risky. This is where courage is required. Conviction is proven under pressure, not in comfort. Your voice matters even when it trembles. You're being trained to recognize when to speak and when to wait. Timing amplifies truth. Words released too early can be wasted. Words released too late can be missed. Attentiveness sharpens timing. You will experience seasons of acceleration followed by seasons of consolidation. Movement followed by stillness. Expansion followed by grounding. Do not resist the rhythm. Both are necessary. One builds momentum, the other builds stability. Your faith will deepen beyond emotion. It will become anchored in experience. Not because everything works out immediately, but because you have seen resilience carry you through uncertainty before. Memory becomes fuel. There will be moments when you question whether the cost is worth it, when sacrifice feels heavy, when ease looks appealing. Remember why you started. Remember what was placed in you. Remember the restlessness that would not let you settle. You are not chasing significance. You are responding to calling. There is a difference. One is driven by ego, the other by responsibility. Ego demands recognition. Responsibility accepts obscurity if the assignment requires it. You will learn that leadership is often lonely, not because others are absent, but because decisions must be made without consensus. Guidance does not always come with agreement. Learn to stand without needing everyone to stand with you. Your emotional resilience is strengthening. What once overwhelmed you now instructs you. What once triggered you now teaches you. This is growth. You are no longer ruled by reaction. You are guided by awareness. You will encounter moments of deja vu, situations that resemble past challenges. This time, notice your response. See how much you have changed. What once shook you may now feel manageable. This is confirmation, not coincidence. You are becoming more intentional with your commitments, less scattered, more focused, saying yes with clarity, saying no without guilt. Alignment simplifies decisions. There will be times when you feel ahead of others and times when you feel behind. Both are illusions. Comparison distorts reality. Stay anchored in your path. Progress is personal. You are learning to trust incremental growth. Small shifts, subtle changes, quiet wins. Transformation is rarely dramatic in the moment. It reveals itself over time. As your inner world becomes more ordered, your outer world will reflect it gradually. Do not rush the reflection. Internal alignment precedes external manifestation. You will face moment. When obedience feels costly and disobedience feels convenient, choose wisely. Short-term relief can lead to long-term regret. Long-term fulfillment often requires short-term sacrifice. Your intuition will continue to be refined through practice. Mistakes will teach you. Success will humble you. Both are instructors. Stay teachable. You are not required to carry everyone with you. Some will walk alongside for a season. Some will fall behind. Some will meet you later. Release the burden of managing other people's journeys. Your clarity will attract both support and opposition. Do not be surprised. Light reveals shadows. Stand firm without becoming hardened. You are being shaped to endure misunderstanding without bitterness. That strength will serve you well. Bitterness poisons purpose. Release it quickly. You will notice a growing alignment between your values and your actions. Integrity brings peace. Peace brings clarity. Clarity brings confidence. There will be moments when you feel the weight of expectation return. Breathe. You are not required to perform perfection. You are required to remain faithful. You are learning to trust rest as much as effort. Restoration is productive. Stillness is not stagnation. Honor your limits. As you continue forward, the path will not suddenly become easy, but it will become clearer. Not because uncertainty disappears, but because confidence in your direction increases. You will begin to recognize the rhythm of your calling, the pace that suits you, the boundaries that protect you. And as this rhythm settles in, you will sense the journey deepening rather than concluding, the call intensifying rather than resolving, the responsibility expanding rather than easing, drawing you further into attentiveness, further into discernment, further into trust. as each step continues to form beneath you, inviting you onward without finality, without closure, without retreat. Only movement, only presence, only the quiet insistence to remain engaged, aware, and willing as what lies ahead continues to unfold just beyond the next step. Because that insistence you feel to remain engaged is not pressure, it is purpose refusing to be ignored. There will be moments when you wish for a pause, a clear stopping point, a signal that says you have done enough, but this path does not function that way. Calling is not a task you complete, it is a posture you maintain. You do not arrive at it and rest, you live within it and grow. You are learning that certainty is not always given up front. Sometimes clarity arrives only after commitment. The step reveals the ground, not the other way around. This goes against everything you were taught about safety and planning, and yet this is where your trust is being strengthened. You are being trained to move from inner conviction rather than external confirmation. There will be seasons when progress feels slow again, even after momentum. This does not mean you are going backward. Growth is not linear. Expansion often requires consolidation. You gather strength, integrate lessons, refine motives. What looks like stillness is often internal restructuring. You will notice that your emotional responses continue to change. Things that once triggered anger now trigger reflection. Situations that once caused panic now invite patience. This is not numbness, it is maturity. You are learning how to remain centered even when circumstances shift. Your discernment will protect you from entanglements that once seemed harmless. You will sense when something is off before it becomes obvious. Trust that. Discernment is quiet but precise. It does not demand attention, it simply guides. There will be invitations that appeal to your ego rather than your purpose. Recognition without respo, incivility, influence without integrity, advancement without alignment. These are tests. Declining them may feel like loss, but accepting them would cost you more. You're becoming more aware of the difference between movement and momentum. Busyness does not equal progress. Activity does not equal alignment. Learn to pause and ask whether what you are doing is actually moving you forward or simply keeping you occupied. You will feel a growing responsibility for your inner life, thoughts, beliefs, narratives you allow to repeat. You are learning that unchecked thoughts shape direction. Discipline of the mind is as important as discipline of action. There will be days when you feel deeply connected and days when you feel distant. Do not panic in the distance. Connection is not measured by constant emotion. Faithfulness remains even when feelings fluctuate. You are also learning that rest is not earned by exhaustion. It is required for sustainability. Pushing beyond your limits does not prove devotion. It weakens effectiveness. Wisdom knows when to pause. You will encounter moments when old fears resurface unexpectedly. Do not interpret their return as failure. Fear often revisits familiar territory to see if it still has access. You decide whether to let it stay. You are becoming more selective with what you consume mentally and emotionally. Media, conversations, environments, everything you take in influences clarity. Guarding your input protects your output. There will be moments when you feel misunderstood by people who once supported you. Growth changes dynamics. What once felt aligned may no longer resonate. This can be painful. Allow grief without resentment. You are learning how to hold truth gently but firmly. Not everyone is ready for what you see. Wisdom knows when to speak and when to wait. Silence is sometimes the most respectful response. You will entice an increased sensitivity to integrity. Compromise will feel heavier. Small dishonesty will feel louder. This is alignment sharpening your conscience. Honor it. You are also learning patience with yourself. Growth exposes imperfection. You will see areas that still need work. Do not condemn yourself. Awareness is the first step toward refinement. There will be moments when you long for simplicity, when responsibility feels heavy. Remember that simplicity and significance are not opposites. You can live simply while carrying something meaningful. You are being trained to recognize the difference between urgency and haste. Urgency responds to calling. Haste reacts to pressure. Learn to move decisively without rushing. You will experience times when solitude feels necessary and times when community feels essential. Balance both. Isolation weakens perspective. Constant engagement weakens clarity. You are learning how to forgive quickly. Holding on to offense slows momentum. Forgiveness does not erase boundaries, but it releases weight. There will be moments when you are asked to trust without understanding, when explanation is withheld, when outcomes are unclear. This is not cruelty, it is training. Trust that needs full understanding is still control. You are becoming more aware of how much influence your internal state has on your external reality. Peace creates space. Anxiety narrows vision. Choose practices that cultivate calm. You will notice that your standards are rising, not out of pride, but out of alignment. You no longer tolerate what drains you. This is not selfish, it is stewardship. You are learning that obedience sometimes looks unimpressive. Small choices, quiet faithfulness, daily consistency. Do not underestimate these moments. They build foundation. There will be times when you feel unseen, when effort goes unnoticed. Remember that visible. It is not the goal. Faithfulness is. Recognition arrives when needed. You're being shaped to carry responsibility without becoming rigid. Flexibility is strength. Adaptability preserves longevity. You will face moments when your patience is tested by others' pace. Everyone grows differently. Release the urge to rush people. Focus on your assignment. You are learning how to respond rather than react. Pause creates space for wisdom. Immediate reaction often serves emotion, not purpose. There will be seasons when your confidence wavers. Confidence rooted in self fluctuates. Confidence rooted in calling steadies. Return to why you began. You are becoming more aware of the power of consistency over intensity. Small steps taken faithfully outperform sporadic bursts of effort. You will notice that you are less interested in proving yourself and more interested in being faithful. This shift frees energy and restores peace. You are learning to listen beyond words, tone, intention, silence. Discernment reads between lines. There will be times when you are required to act without full support. Leadership often requires standing first. Others may follow later. You are learning that saying no creates space for deeper yeses. Overcommitment dilutes impact. You will encounter moments when fear disguises itself as humility. Self-doubt framed as modesty. Recognize it. You are not arrogant for accepting responsibility. You are becoming more aware of timing. Some things require patience. Others require immediate action. Discernment differentiates. You will feel the weight of expectation return occasionally. Release perfectionism. Faithfulness does not require flawlessness. You are learning how to maintain peace under pressure. This is not passive, it is practiced. There will be days when clarity feels distant. Return to fundamentals. Alignment restores vision. You are becoming more comfortable with uncertainty. Not because it disappears, but because your trust deepens. You will notice that your inner dialogue is changing. Less condemnation, more instruction. This is growth. You are learning that obedience does not guarantee ease, but it guarantees alignment. Alignment sustains. There will be moments when you feel like you are repeating lessons. Each repetition goes deeper. Mastery requires revisiting. You are being trained to hold responsibility without resentment. This requires surrender. You will encounter opportunities to compromise quietly. Integrity is tested in private. You are learning that strength is not loud, it is steady. There will be seasons when you feel stretched thin. Return to rest. Renewal restores capacity. You are becoming more aware of how fear manipulates timing. Urgency rooted in fear rushes. Urgency rooted in purpose steadies. You will notice that gratitude stabilizes perspective. Remembering how far you have come fuels endurance. You are learning how to let go of outcomes. Control creates tension. Trust releases it. There will be moments when your patience with yourself is tested. Extend grace. Growth is ongoing. You are becoming more grounded in truth and emotion. Emotions inform, truth anchors. You will face decisions where neither option feels comfortable. Choose alignment over ease. You are learning how to stay present. Anxiety lives in the future. Peace lives now. There will be times when your faith is quiet. Silence does not equal absence. You are becoming more attuned to subtle guidance. Pay attention. You will notice that your resilience continues to grow. What once overwhelmed you now instructs you. You are learning to walk forward without needing closure behind you. The past does not require resolution to release its hold. And as you continue in this posture of attentiveness, the willingness to remain present without demanding final answers, you will sense the journey stretching forward rather than concluding, inviting you deeper into awareness, deeper into trust, deeper into responsibility, with no clean ending, no final pause, only continued movement, continued listening, continued obedience as the next step forms beneath you again and again, carrying you onward without conclusion, without finality, without retreat, only forward, only aware, only engaged as what is still unfolding continues to call you further into it. Chosen ones, this is where everything you have heard settles into a single truth. You were never called to be comfortable. You were called to be faithful. The road behind you proves your resilience, and the road ahead requires your courage. You do not need louder confirmation, clearer signs, or perfect conditions to move forward. You need only to remain aligned, attentive, and willing. What has been placed within you is intentional, timely, and necessary, and it will continue to unfold as long as you keep choosing obedience over fear and purpose over ease. So stand steady in what you know, even when the path is still forming. Trust the process that shaped you, the endurance that carried you, and the clarity that now guides you. You are not walking blindly, you are walking bravely. And as you move forward with humility, conviction, and unwavering focus, what was once only sensed will become evident, what felt heavy will become meaningful, and what seemed risky will prove to be the very thing that led you exactly where you were always meant to be.